testimony. Sean Spicer, former White House press secretary, with me now. Sean, nice to see you on a Friday especially. Where do you think we go next?
Well, I think the Democrats are going to try to figure out how to keep this thing going, but that hearing really took the wind out of their sails. This was supposed to be the visual manifestation of the report. They kind of laid it all out there. They thought the American people would be with them after Mueller testified. I think he clearly fumbled through the testimony, looked aloof, didn't understand parts of his own report, called into question whether he read it, whether he wrote it, and I think really undermined the case that the Democrats were hoping to make. So it was, I think, clearly a victory for the president. I know Democrats need and want to keep this alive. That hearing made it much, much more difficult.
Why do they need to keep it alive? Is that money or is that a message? What is that, Sean?
Well, I think it's two things. One is they need to keep their base motivated. This is something that their base, when they lost the last election, figured that this is the way that they would make up for that loss. And so they've got a lot of pressure from the left-wing socialist progressive base of their party that's forced them to keep this up. And the second thing, to be honest with you, is that the president's actually getting things done. They can't run against the economy. They can't run against all the other things that the president is doing because, by and large, the American people supports the president's policies and the accomplishments that he's receiving. So it makes it hard for them to campaign against him on the economy, the number one issue that people care about, when you continue to see things move in a very positive direction, when more and more people from all sectors of our society are going back to work, getting their wages increased. It makes it difficult for them to make that policy argument, so they're trying to figure out how they can appease their base and do this.
Okay, so
but I think it's turning off more people than anything.
Here's one idea now. Tucker's team caught up with Speaker Pelosi yesterday. I'm going to play that for you and listen to the last part of her answer here.
Speaker Pelosi, Alex Pfeiffer with Tucker Carlson tonight. In January, you wondered what Putin had on Trump. After yesterday, are you any closer to figuring that out?
We're in the courts right now.
Are you any closer to figuring out what Putin has on Trump?
That's why we need to they have to answer our subpoena.
Do you still think Putin might have some sort of blackmail on the president?
I wonder what Putin has politically, financially, or personally.
So our president could be subject to blackmail, you think?
So the politically, financially, personally answer there, Sean.
I mean, I don't even know how to answer that. She seems flustered with her own answer. They don't know where to go. They've had a House hearing, a Senate hearing, the Mueller hearing, countless investigations through the committees that they now control in the House, and they've turned up nothing. This is seriously getting tired, and I think the problem is that they recognize that the American people have said, wait a second, we gave these folks the majority, and look at what they've done. They're not fighting for these progressive policies. They're not keeping their base happy on the policy front. And the American people, who are largely looking at what they're doing with this majority, investigation after investigation, are wondering whether or not they are proper stewards of this majority and the direction and policies that people wanted addressed.
I was in Memphis, Tennessee. I saw very few people even watching it. That for another day. Go ahead.
I think that's the problem, is they put a lot of eggs in this basket, and it's not going to yield anything for them.
What about Speaker Pelosi and AOC meeting right now? You know, that meeting's wrapped up. What do you think comes of this relationship?
Right. Well, I love the fact that the speaker said that she looked forward to that meeting, because I'd love to know what the rest of her schedule looks like. If that's the meeting she's looking forward to today, that doesn't say a lot about the rest of her schedule. Look, this is embarrassing for the Democratic Party. Say what you will about Nancy Pelosi, but she is a shrewd tactician. And the idea that you have these four freshman members of Congress, in particular this first-term 29-year-old, leading the Democratic Party, making everybody respond to them, including their presidential candidates, is embarrassing. Nancy Pelosi, the idea that she took over, got this majority, and now she is taking all of the cues from a 29-year-old freshman, is embarrassing, frankly.
Thank you, Sean. Have a good weekend. We'll see.
You bet, guys.
We'll see what they both have to say very soon, we do believe, from the Hill. Thank you, Sean.
You bet.